Hi, this is Flo. Now, I've had an inquiry on the site to say that somebody wants to curve text in Cricut. Well, yes, we can curve text in Cricut, but it's not quite the way she wanted to do it. If we go to curve here, it gives us the ability to curve it this way and to curve it in a smile. So if you go backwards, you smile. If you go forwards, you frown. Now, that's quite interesting, but it doesn't really quite work if what you want to do is just simply have the words match up to the edge of something. For instance, what I've done here is I've got a shield banner from Design Space, from Cricut Access, and this is a circle. And what I've done is I've made the circle big enough to meet up with the shield. And now what I'm going to do with this is, because I couldn't get a shield quite what I wanted, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go a line, and I'm going to align right, because I've fairly well got it centered where I want it, because I've looked at the plus mark on the back one, and actually it probably just needs to come down a fraction, and I'll just tap it down with my keys, and you can see it's come down probably just a little bit more than I wanted. So now I've got to go and tap it back up, and that you can actually do that with that at the back so that I can get it well centered. Right, what I'm going to do from there is, now I've got my shape, and I've picked this shape specifically so that I can show you things. I'm going to weld it by going down to the bottom right, and I now have a shape. I hate working in shapes that are black, so I'm going to change it to pink. Now, with this shape, we generally want to put something at the top, have something in the middle, in here, and a shape at the bottom. So I've picked the words homemade, and I've already got them ready, so I'm not wasting too much of your time. And if you look over in the layers panel, you'll find that I've used text Aldine 721BT. Now, this is a Access font, so there's no problem with that. What I want to do in here is I want to put something so that I've got something in the middle so that I can have 3 lines of text. Now, I've just added a square. I don't want that square to be too big, but I just want it to be sort of long, slightly longer than what it is, and maybe a little bit narrower. Now, I've got that there. However, before I added something that was a banner, and if you want to get quite creative, you could do a banner through the middle. So instead of carving that out, you could actually carve out the banner. Now, let's see if we send this one to the back. You could do something like that. Even if we made the banner slightly bigger and longer, to make it look like those pieces came in there. Now, this is going to make quite a hard way of curving words. So I'll just put in another word. Now, that's way too big, of course, and you'll see it still picked the same text as I was on before, because that was what I'd chosen before. Now, I'm going to make this quite small because I want it to go in here. And of course, this is where you would use your smile and frown. So we want it to frown. So we're going to move this so that we can get that fairly well just right where we want it. And it's got a curve, and if you play around a bit more, you'd be able to get that curve dead right. However, the problem that we've got is that has become easy with the text curving feature in Design Space. But making them go to this shape has not. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to take out this one. I'm going to select these two items and I'm going to slice them. Now, what that's going to give me is, I should have saved it beforehand, and I haven't. So hopefully we'll be able to go back and do all this again, because you can see we've got lots of little bits there. That one goes in there. But what I've got is I've got a shape up here and a shape down here. Now, if I want to, these are other shapes that I was looking at playing around with, and certainly you can do that. Now, I've got this made word, so I'm now going to send this to the back. Go send back. I just right-clicked on that to do that. And what I want to do is I want to make this as high as this. So it's got to be as wide as that is to make it there. And it only needs a little bit of a curve at the bottom, but it needs a lot more at the top. So I'm going to unlock it and I'm going to pull it down. And that's because I can't pull it up with that little gadget. I can only pull it down. Now, the thing that you're going to need here is the A and the D, which are the middle letters in here, are looking pretty good. The E and the M are not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to the advanced and I'm going to ungroup the letters. Now, you can use your ungroup, which is over here, or you can right click and go ungroup. So there's generally 3 ways of doing things. Now, with this particular one, I'm going to make the E a bit smaller because I want you to be able to see most of the E, but I want the E to look like it's come down over there. So I need it a bit bigger because I want to put it there. And I'm going to make it this big, but I might just curve it a little so that it goes on the bottom. Now, all this is just simply playing around with what you've got. So if we put it over there, it is going to hopefully look like an E. Might have to be a little bit smaller. Now I think we're getting there. Now the M again is going to need to be a bit smaller. However, we want that to rotate that way slightly, and we need it just a bit bigger so that the middle part of the M is going to go on there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, let's slice off this bottom piece so that we're only working with one piece. I'll do this quite often so that I can just work on a piece and then put all the pieces back together. So I'm just going to slice this now. I'm not picking up the words, I'm just doing the 2 objects, and I hope you realise that, okay, we've just got the 2 objects now. I'll put those over there. I'll leave that there. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to slice the made out of the, is it made? Whoops. Oh dear. What have we done there? Okay, now we can see what we've done there. We didn't, well, let's go back and I'll show you what we did or I didn't do. This is all separate letters, and we have to come down and weld those separate letters so that if you look over on this side, they're no longer separate letters, they're all one object. And that's the only way we can slice. We can slice 2 objects, one from the other. Now, what we're going to do is going to do exactly that. I've welded that now, so it's going to have to be like that. And I'm going to go slice, which is down the bottom on the right here. Now, what we've got is we've got a little bit of debris over here. But what we've got is we've got made in there. I put made, and I was supposed to put home, wasn't I? Anyway, that is the made, that is made. But of course, you can see that if we had saved it like I was supposed to, then I could have put these, I'll align them again. Hopefully that might center them all up and do it right. No, it didn't, because it's not centered in the first place. So we have to get that dead right. But if we put this over the top of it, you can see that made could go in there. Now, we'll do this with home now, and I want to do the bottom one. And of course, this is going to be different again, because we're going to send that to the back. We're going to bring home over here, and again, it's got a slight curve on the top. We're going to make it just this wide and release the bounding box so that we can get it in there. Now, again, we've got the curve at the top's not going to be too much of a problem, because we can put it up there and cut it out. But the piece at the bottom is going to be a little bit more difficult. So again, we'll go up to Ungroup, and we've ungrouped the letters now. So you can see the M is not going to be too bad, but we sort of want it a little bit lower on the right than on the left and on the right. So I'm going to pull that one down. With the E, I'm going to bring it back up. I'm going to bring it down a little from the top. Hang on. Come here, little E. Yeah. And then the O doesn't look too bad, but the H needs to come down a little bit, and oops, where are you? And then we're going to put it up a bit. And you can see as I'm moving this that you can make them wider and narrower, but I've just done this, and now I'm going to slice this. And again, I've forgotten to weld the letters together. So I'll go back and I'll go weld, which is down the bottom on the right. And hopefully you'll be able to see where my mouse goes for doing that. Now, if I'm going over here, I'm now going to slice it again. So I'll go down to slice. And then I will have my debris that's from the outside. And you can see now that I've got homemade on this. If I take that out and take that out, I can put that one up there. I can put this one back in here. Or I can have saved, if I was a good girl and I forgot to do it this time, I could have saved the background of this and made the home go on top of the background. Now, as you saw before, we could put all manner of things into these pieces in the middle and do those, and so that we could get them all put together. Now, this is a way of, we'll just take that one up and put it over there. This is a way of curving your text in Design Space when you want to curve it around things. You don't have to do the curved text like this, but the curved text comes in very handy when you want to do it. We'll just bring this to the front so that we can see what we've done here. And you can see there that we can put that over the top. We've got this fitted into the area that it is. This is done by curving text. That's the video is done by curving text. And home again is done by slicing it out. the way we've always been taught to do things beforehand is if we wanted to put this on a circle, what we would do is we would ungroup the letters, and I think there's an ungroup in the right click, so let's right click and go ungroup. And then letter by letter, you rotate them and bring them back down to the edge of the circle. And then, as you can see, this is not a quick thing to do. And I think it's probably quite a lot quicker if you use the curve feature, or if you simply do the slice one. And it does give you another option of putting things on lines. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm basically using the circle as my line that I want to put it on. And you have a number of things that are circles but are also open path circles. Now you can see there I've got video by. I'm not overly happy with it at the moment, and I would need to fiddle around with it quite a lot. But under your shapes, if you go down to the bottom ones, you have open paths here, which if I select an open path in a half circle, these simply cut a half circle that's one single line. But you can put your things, you don't have to use big circles like that and get confused. You can use a half circle like this, and you get a much easier way of putting them on, simply because you can just rotate that to the path, and because this is an open path, you can get this onto that, and you can see that much better than trying to work with a circle that is still black using black. My mouse is a bit shaky there, but you can see that the B and the Y have come down and been a lot easier to get onto that circle. So there's a number of ways to do the things in here. You'll see that I'm on the canvas, and that's where we started. I started with a number of things already on here. I've used Aldine Text 721BT, which is in Cricut Access. I've used the open-ended circle, which is this one here. I made this one by putting a shield and a circle together, so you can make your own shapes, but you could equally do shapes like this and take out the middle bit here and make that shape so that it's got pointed ends on it and your things slope up and down here. But I've made this for you so you can have a look at that one. And there's a number of shields in there. There's other things. Just remember that if you've got all your bits and pieces on your canvas, sometimes it's easier to take out some of the debris that is there so that you can work with what you've got. Now, some of the shapes I've got, this was a shield, this is a hexagon, and this is a heart. And as you can see, all these shapes would work with the different letters. You've just got to ungroup them, make them the right size for you, because you might have wanted the M a bit higher. So there's always the undo button, and it's always great to have saved your base, which of course I didn't do today. But if I'd saved my base, I might have been able to go back and say, okay, I want that M just a bit higher on this side so that it looks better. I want the E a bit higher on this side. Or maybe if the M came down a bit, it would match the E. So all of those little things are little tweaks you can do. So I hope this has been of help with making your letters form to a shape, and that will help you do things. Thank you for watching. Oh, say goodbye.